God, the show is so good. This show is so good. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how much I missed 86. And it's so funny because this entire episode should anger me. Like this episode is like a culmination of what I kind of don't like about this writer. This writer loves to fake out deaths. And as much as we want to believe, everybody's going to be fine. There's like this is everybody going to be okay kind of thing. It still looms there. But this is technically the second full party death fake out we've done with this series, and it seems to be a commonality with this writer. Like they love doing this, and it frustrates me. So I'm like, I should really hate this episode. And added to that, the whole fake out later on with the just open the stupid hatch. Just open the stupid hatch. They did it. Like this is a frustrating trope that this writer's doing, but guess what? It was all done so well. I don't care. Like I don't care. Like I'm opening up. I'm like, yep, everybody's alive. All right, that we knew that was gonna happen. And it's like it's doing it so well. It's like I don't care because I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like super pumped. My eyes are just being hit with just the most beautiful directing, visual styling that they could have possibly done. So many creative methods used in there, like the whole widescreen cropping that's being broken by Lena basically coming in. Like, it's so good. Like, the portrayals of all of the different symbolisms and how they portray death and crossing over and that realization that death didn't happen. So there's a re-walking over the spider lilies. There's so much in this episode. And again, it was so well done. Like, I almost have a feeling like the director and the studio and everybody was like, look, we messed up. And we wasn't able to hit our deadlines last year. And we need to come back swinging. Like, we need to show people that this wait was worth it. Like, I almost feel like, despite the fact that there's a little bit of upsetness about how we didn't get everything at the end of last year, like, there was this long delay, literally a whole season delay, it almost felt like the studio acknowledged that and said, look, when we come back, we got to make sure that we present something that everybody realizes this is why we had to wait. This is what we wanted to do, and we wanted to make sure it was done right. And they did it. And they did it, like, it's like that going above and beyond. Like, I would have been happy if this was, like, a little bit less, spectacular. I still would have loved it to death. I still would have been bawling my eyes out and super emotional. But these extra steps it took was, like, that passion and that respect that they did for the series. And I'm like, okay, now I'm happy. It's back now. I don't care no more. But yeah, just a phenomenal episode. Like, I don't even know where to start from here. I'm all over the place with my thoughts, and I think I've pretty much hit most of the I need to say this now kind of moments. But yeah, just open up the episode. I should be frustrated, but it was done so well. Again, I kind of was hitting on this in the last, all my previous impressions with this series, that I was starting to get frustrated with Shin kind of stuck in himself. And I almost hope, I really do hope that we will never see this Shin again. Like, unless something really tragic happens, he's going to have to fall back. That's obvious. But this episode was like the perfect episode to really finally clear up Shin's mindset. He is the Shinigami. Everybody dies before him. Essentially, before this explosion happens, he's having this kind of dialogue with Kitty. And Kitty is essentially telling him, look, we both got to go. Like, Shin's going, the dead should stay dead. You're in the past. Go away. You should disappear. And Kitty's going, okay, you too. Like, we don't have anything. We both lost everything. Shin believes that everybody is dead again, and he's being left behind once again. So Kitty's like going, all right, come with me. But it doesn't really happen. He still ends up surviving, and he's still stuck in this idea of, it keeps happening. I keep being left behind. It's the curse of the Shinigami. It's the curse of the Reaper, the guy that is always the one that sends others off, but he's always alone, left behind. Can we have an anime series that basically makes you think the Shinigami is a good person? The Reaper, like Western culture, the Reaper is like terrifying. He's always going around just basically executing everybody, sending them off the app. But no, in anime we have to go, that Reaper, he's alone. We have to be sad about him. But no, he's stuck in this. And he even has this little relapse moment where he sees, here's another squad coming up of the Legion. Just kill me already. Like, he's in that mindset. Just be done with it. I'm tired of it because I'm constantly seeing the ghosts of the people I've sent off, and I'm constantly alone. And again, I was getting back into that. Here we go again. Can we end this? Like, can we please move on from the Shin is alone and Shin is the Reaper? Again, being done beautifully. The entire thing is beautiful, but there is a side of me going, let's move on from this. But again, this is where it gets so good, because everything beyond this moment, which again is portrayed so beautifully, having that point in which Lena essentially is stepping over the spider lilies again. I've mentioned before, that moment that Shin kind of realized that the Sand Magnolia was going down, he had this inner thought of this fill the spider lilies, was a symbolism of that crossing over. And Lena was walking over that. It kind of symbolically told us Lena is dead. But it was in his mind. So this moment when he sees Lena again, it is seeing her walking past those spider lilies again. It's that revival. And again, it's that beautiful symbolism of what he's going through and what his mindset is. And again, so beautiful. But then again, we get back to this. Oh, this is such a tease. Like, this whole entire scene is a tease. Oh, of course he has to use this technology that reads her lips and tells her what she's saying in text. Of course he can't hear her voice. Of course she can't hear his voice because it's over this, grimy speaker system. Everything has to be, to them not knowing, they're right there next to each other. But again, I'm thankful that they kind of break from those tropes over time, having that point in which one of her soldiers comes up, she gets on the comm, it breaks over in his comm, he's able to hear her, realizes it's Lena, and then, you have that moment where he accidentally says, Major, and it goes through the comm system, and she acknowledges it. So even though you don't have that, really, I know everybody was screaming at their TVs going, get out of the cockpit. Show her it's you. You both need to come together. It's that tease. It was a total tease. But thankfully, it didn't leave it at that. That's what I appreciate. The fact that they didn't leave it like that, because eventually they both get it. He hears her voice. He knows it's her. She hears his voice. She knows it's him. She even brings out the stuff and shows oh yeah, by the way, I seen this. She's showing him, just so you know, this is me. I got what you guys left me. They both know. So in the end, it's not a bad thing, because at least we have an acknowledgement that they both survived. Now, I do question, when they were all getting in the comms to talk to Shin, which is after that whole death fake out thing, why she wasn't able to intercept that, because the whole point was him intercepting her comms, because it's on the same technology. So I don't know why she wouldn't pick up on all their comms unless she turned it off and left, which I guess could be the explanation. But absolutely beautiful scene. Again, you have the music queuing up, that beautiful Swana Hiroyuki music kicking up. You have the vocals kicking in, and then yes, you have that moment that she says the exact thing that he needed to hear. That she's still following them, that she's going right on her word. She was told to survive. She's surviving. She's fighting. She's seeking the day that she'll be with them again, so they can fight together. She's finally showing them, I will stand on the battlefield with you. This was a huge part for Lena. And I love that later on they kind of acknowledge, because they recorded the conversation. Everybody's happy to hear that she's still alive. And Raiden specifically is acknowledging she sounded so much stronger because she fought and she survived just like us. And it's like that. Is that, I guess, the closure of everything that was in the previous season. The moment that they were all a part of the 86 and were fighting for Sand Magnolia. This is the final chapter, honestly. Because based on what she's saying, the Sand Magnolia has fallen. She says the previous Sand Magnolia. It's gone. This is a new Sand Magnolia, and she is a commander of it. So this is a culmination of, okay, since this is over, the one remaining thread is her being equal with everybody else. And that was her stating, I will fight with you guys all the way on the battlefield. And she is now literally... It was kind of cheesy, the fact that she's running around on foot, but it's still... And the fact that she basically shot a legion with a rifle in her hand. But that aside, the fact that she has her feet on the ground is a really good symbolism of her willingness to stand out there on the battlefield along with them. It wasn't in a high armored tank. It wasn't in a crazy spider tank. It wasn't in some new technology that Sand Magnolia made before she left. she's on foot, making it even more significant that she's there. Like, she's going even above and beyond than what they are. They're still in the tanks. They're still running around in those. She's on foot. So it was a lot of symbolisms there just about her willingness to be out on the battlefield with them. And it was just so good. Like, everything was so good. And like I said, the music ramping up, the moment he realizes that everything was for a reason, she's acknowledging them, talking about how they live their life. She's not going to give up. She's not going to leave the battlefield. She's going to stand there. She's not going to go on her knees, just like people that she knew, which again is acknowledging the 86. And she still wants to take them to what lies ahead. And that was so good. And then, like, I want to throw it in here as well. The scene with Frederica was like, okay, this is the point in which I think Shin should move on. Like, this is exactly what he needed to hear to finally move on from this Reaper thing. Again, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, this was exactly the bookend to that whole story arc. This is exactly what he needed to hear, which was that you got your answer, didn't you? She's following you, so what should be your destination? It was like, oh my gosh, this show is poetry. Like, this writer literally writes poetry because it's such a beautiful statement, and it bookends everything Shin's been going through. He's always worried about being left behind. He's always worried about all this stuff, and then he feels he has no purpose. He's lost everything, and there's no reason for him to exist. And then finally he realizes, I want to create that future, and I want something for him to follow us. She's following us, so where should I go? Is it death? Because that seems what he wants right now is death. If he dies, isn't what she's following him to death? It creates this idea that, no, I need to go to this future where everybody's happy, away from the battlefield. He doesn't want her on the battle. That's what his whole reason why he didn't want to see her was he didn't want to see her in this battlefield. He wants to create this place of no battlefield, and that's a future that she's following him, so he can't die. He needs to move on. He's gained purpose. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. But yeah, he was going to open the hatch, and I knew it was gonna get interrupted. Like, technically the moment that they kind of acknowledged each other's voices, I was like, okay, well, that's more than I thought would actually happen. So I guess they could go that far, but no. The moment the hatch was open, I'm like, here it comes. Somebody's gonna interrupt him, and sure enough, somebody interrupted him. So yeah, Giad shows up. They talk about the fact that they're basically Sangmanoli has fallen. They're gonna go there and help rescue them. Ernst is pretty clear on the idea that despite the fact that they're terrible people, they did wrong things, they have fallen, there are survivors, and they still have to help them. And he does give them that option of not coming along with them, but he still wants to. Like Shin is like, I don't want to save them, but there's people there that I do not want to die. So my assumption at this point is, unless there's like a really quick episode, the next arc I'm assuming is to go back to San Magnolia, which that's going to be very interesting. I'll be interested to see how that kind of all turns out, and hopefully they'll eventually see each other. And yes, that's when we get the reveal that everybody's alive. Everybody's alive, which again, I'm happy for. Like, it's like, I don't want characters to die, but I just hate when it's fake outs. But yeah, everybody's alive, and that's great. Even Frederica, who was right there in front of Kitty, survived, which, oh my gosh. Again, another one that made me really badly tearing up was that shot where, yeah, the arms come out, and it kind of showed us that, where it was flowing up towards her, and it was like one of those little panic moments, like, oh, he's coming after me still. It was him pushing her away. And it had this, like, the way that it showed it was essentially somebody grabbing somebody from that perspective, grabbing her and lifting her up. And it was just exactly kind of like the shots we've seen previously of these flashbacks with Frederica, where he's grabbing her and lifting her up, and she's shocked, but then it turns to happiness. And it was just, oh gosh, it was like, I watched that little clip like a couple of times because, like, oh gosh, that was just, it hurts so bad to see. Yeah, and it also had Frederica pretty much acknowledge the fact that she looked into his memories and seen all this stuff about Lena, so she acknowledges how important she is to him, and got to tease him a little bit for it, but they're gonna throw her in a box and get her out of here because she's no longer their hostage. So a lot of fun, really enjoyed it. It's just a overall really solid. And yeah, technically they had the very ending part, having them show that they had the recording, and everybody's really happy that she's still alive. They were asking her, did you see her, how does she look? And he's like, oh, I didn't get to see her. I'm like, oh yeah, right. But everybody's happy. I like it. Really solid, happy ending. And again, it's not that I want a sad ending. It's not that I want characters to die. It's just, I hate the fake outs. But again, it was done so well. I gotta give it a pass. Like, I just have to give it a pass. It was so well done. Directing, animation, music, the cues, the symbolisms, the artistic styles, everything was so good. It was like literally a perfect episode. Like, I could not ask for more. Like this, I don't know how any episode of any show is going to top this single episode this year, or at least over the last couple of years. It's just it was so well done. I loved it to death, through and through. Perfect episode. I gotta stop. Otherwise, this episode of this impression is going to be as long as the entirety of the episode. But I'm curious how the next episode is gonna go. I really do hope. Like, this is a really solid like chapter end right here, and so it does have me a little bit concerned as to what the next episode is gonna be, because what are they gonna fit in one episode? I hope that they're not gonna start digging into the next arc, and then we get this big nasty cliffhanger. Kind of similar to what we had in the previous season, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'll definitely be here next week to cover it. I hope you guys will join me for that. I'm definitely excited to see the series come back. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. If you like this video, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know if you like the episode, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video again, support us on Patreon through our tips link, description below. Definitely appreciate everybody that does. I know, I'll take care. And I have no clue what I'm going to do for a thumbnail, because anything spoiler